All right, good day to you. My name is Fred Oakman, and today with me is listener, patron, supporter, gamer, and friend, Mr. LJ Ocker. And we are PS This Is Awesome, a PlayStation podcast. This is episode 280. Mr. Jake Peters is currently in Nashville for a work thing this week. And this is a show where we share our feelings about the current state of PlayStation. So before we get on with the show, I want to invite you all to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, youtube.com/PS This Is Awesome. If you want to make fun of our trophy list on the PlayStation Network, you can find me at Anchorless_81, Mr. LJ Ocker at Blip_McDougal, and lastly, Mr. Jake Peters at JakeSaw01. And if you want to make fun, and as always, you can write our show at psthisisawesome@gmail.com. It wouldn't be PS This Is Awesome if I didn't screw up the intro in some way, shape, or form. And so you can write us psthisisawesome@gmail.com. Most importantly, don't forget to share the show with your friends. Be sure to leave comments and rate the podcast as you see fit. As a reminder, we're a video podcast as well, so you can watch our show if you prefer over at YouTube, and you can look at our awesome old man aging. I'm older than LJ, I believe, but we're just older gamers doing this kind of thing. So make sure you subscribe to us over there. And for new and or long-time listeners, we have a Patreon, and you can support our show for $1 a month. It's a $1 level called the one and only $1 Club. So head over to patreon.com/PS This Is Awesome, and you can become a $1 patron and get a free die-cut vinyl sticker in the mail and a shout-out on our show. So, LJ, before we get started and I ask you how you're doing, thank you for joining us for episode 280. I appreciate it. LJ, you've been on an episode before. I don't remember what episode it was at this point. Do you remember what episode number it was?
I don't. This is actually my third time.
Third. Yeah. Wait. Third. Wow. That's right. Yeah, I do remember. You've been on twice. Yes. Okay. I stand corrected. Thank you. I don't remember what episodes they were, though. It's been a minute, though. So while the listeners haven't heard from you in a while, you and I still keep touch outside of the show from time to time. And as I said before, Jake is on a work trip, so we're very happy to have you so I don't have to do another solo show by myself. So we will give the listeners something to listen to, some back and forth, some commentary. But how are you doing? We're recording this Friday night. It's
pretty good.
The 9th, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to be down on a Friday night. The weather here, I'm in Indianapolis, is gorgeous. Got some plans this weekend to spend with my family, do some stuff around the house. So yeah, life is good. What about you?
Yeah, man, very good. I'm happy to hear that. Usually, you know that I'm usually doing gigs on the weekends. I have 2 weekends where I don't have any concerts. So this bathroom project, and if Jake were here, he would just be making fun of me, like, why are you still working on the bathroom? So like, I had like silicone caulk I had to put up where the tile meets the wall, and I had a little scare last night because it says clearer. So I did a line of silicone on the tile where it meets the wall, and it came out white, like as white as ever. And like we have black grout, and I'm like, oh shit. So then I panic and I look at the bottle and it says like, it dries clear. And I'm like, I don't know if I fucking believe this. So I stopped in my tracks. It says it could take up to a couple days to be as clear as as you want it. And I'm like, that's a long wait. So just out of concern for screwing up this bathroom, we put so much time, effort, labor of love into, and paid a lot of money as well. I paused and I woke up this morning and the silicone was clear as can be. So I got good stuff. So I've been doing that. I did that this morning. When I got back from work. My job, without going into detail what I do or where I work, have been offering overtime lately. So I've got overtime tomorrow morning. I'm going to do 8 to 12, and then I'm going to have a little bit of downtime. The wife has a busy week. This is my weekend to be home, just chilling. So she's going to be out with her friends. I'm having a Hero Quest night. We're bringing Hero Quest back now that the bathroom is pretty much done. So we're going to have a Hero Quest game night from 5:30 until whenever with some friends, have a couple drinks, hang out, play board games. It's going to be really exciting, but I'm doing well, man. I'm kind of tired. I'm sore. The Canadian wildfires are like a really big problem right now. And, heart goes out to anybody who's been impacted by that, which most people in our listening area have been to a degree. If it's just not air pollutant, but just other things have been going on, and the poor folks in Canada don't seem to have the fire, the crews to really get things under control right now. So hope everybody's safe out there. But I did start running again, and I just got into my regimen where I'm like, it's now a habit, right? I've gotten to the point where like they say 2 weeks and it's like a habit. So this happens with the fire stuff, and our air quality isn't fantastic. And I'm like, I don't know if I should be out there like huffing and puffing and running on the track. So like, I feel like this is so not even a big deal. But for me, I've been looking forward to going out and running a lot, and I've been doing really well and enjoying it. But I haven't gone out this week, and I already feel kind of like a slack ass because I know how I work, and I know I'm going to use this as an excuse to not do it. So I got to bounce back. You know what I mean? I got to bounce back. Next week's my week. So, but I'm good, man. Thank you for asking. Man. Are you a runner? Do you do anything like that?
No, I used to work out and lift and do some cardio and stuff, but ever since my third child came along, that went to the wayside. I mean, I have time, but I just make excuses, kind of like you're talking about. Yeah. But yeah, I'm happy that you jump back in, and maybe once the air quality gets a little back out there. Yeah,
appreciate that, man. You look great, by the way. Yeah, you look super healthy. You look like you're ready to kick ass somewhere. With your Orioles hat. I should have worn my Pirates hat today, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Buccos. Well, hey, man. The first thing we do on this show is we talk about games that we're playing. And LJ, I'm really curious to hear what you've been diving into lately. I'll talk briefly about some of the games that I've been playing. And time is always limited. Like you said, you've got a big family to take care of. You work full time. I work full time. I've got music all the time. I've got this bathroom project. For the listeners, we don't get the game probably as much as we like, and we probably honestly game more than we should, being adults. But with other responsibilities. But for the listeners, I'm still trying to get through the Yuffie DLC for Final Fantasy VII. The issue with that is my dog Charlie, who's with me down here right now, Yuffie has this hat that she wears that has like these ears on it, and he thinks it's an animal. So I can't play the Final Fantasy VII DLC when I'm dog sitting, like when the wife's away, which is really the only time I really get any rest to like, I haven't forbid she listens to this podcast, but like it's the only time I really don't have something I'm doing. So it's kind of like, I don't know, the opposite of a good situation with getting that finished, because when he's in the room with me, he has separation anxiety. So this is why, like, people are probably like, why don't you just put him in a crate, or why don't you just leave him alone? Like, he really, really, his heart starts racing. He really has some issues when he's left alone. So, and we love him to death, so we feel terrible about it. And I'm sure there are different things we can do, whatever, to curb those behaviors, but we just don't, because we don't have time. So she works from home. He's around one of us 24/7, and that's the way he prefers it. But whenever I play the Yuffie DLC, dude, he's just hopping on two legs, like jumping by the PlayStation, just going ballistic, and I just can't play it right now. So what I did do is I jumped back into Warzone, and because I knew they put some new maps and stuff on there, and the Gulag's different now. I don't know if you played Warzone recently. Dude, it's interesting. Like, Warzone is such a good game. It takes about an hour and a half to get used to it again when you're out of it, and not even get proficient or good like you were, but it takes a while. The whole upgrading structure has been redone for the operators and the stuff. If you're not part of BattleNet or Battle Pass, whatever it is, and you're just doing the freebie stuff, it's really, I still haven't quite figured out what I need to do to get the unlocks and stuff. But I'll say this, man, that game is a lot of fun, and it handles so well. And the Gulag is different for anyone who hasn't played it in a while. The Gulag now, instead of being 2 versus 2, the one that I'm playing, it's 1 versus 1. And if you don't take out the opponent in like the first 10, 12 seconds, a flag will show up, and then it's like capture the flag. So it becomes like this crazy, frenetic, very short time span, like this thing of like, survive or die. And it's pretty intense, actually. But yeah, man, those are the two games that I'm playing. How about you, LJ?
Well, before I talk about that, that's interesting about Warzone because when I first started playing, that's how it was. And then it switched to 2v2 with that. There was like some prisoner warden jailer or something that would come. The jail. So that's interesting. It switched back, and I've been itching to play, so maybe we'll have to give it a go. The games I've been playing are, like you said and alluded to earlier, just because of lack of time. Just been playing games I can jump into and jump out. So I've been ripping a lot of Fortnite recently. I got pretty hooked on that, to be honest. Yep. Actually, the new season started, new chapter or whatever season, I don't know, started today, and I was up to like a level 110-ish. Yeah, so it helped. Wow. I had some friends from church that I play with, or shout out to Rogers. And anytime you have people to play a game with, it just makes it more enjoyable in my opinion. Yeah. People you know. And then a buddy from work showed me Destiny 2 a couple weeks ago. And I was like, I heard you and Jake talk about it, how well the shooting mechanics are. So I was like, I'm going to give this a try. So I've played a little bit of that. Like you folks said, the shooting is freaking awesome. Yeah. It's a little confusing, like not only the story, but like, what am I doing here? Like, where do I go? It's kind of hard to jump into, in my opinion. But it's still really fun. It's a pretty game. It's easy to get in and get out. But basically, we've been playing those two games. I did finally bite the bullet and get another internal SSD. Got a 2 terabyte one. And I know I told you this, but super easy to install, like incredibly easy. Sony did a great job. So happy to have that and not have to like think about what games are going to delete, what games are going to add, because pretty much everyone in my family plays. So, yeah, you know, when you add all those games up, it takes up a lot of space. So
it really does. That's awesome. I saw something on Reddit where somebody was trying to replace or not replace, but install an internal SSD like that on the expansion slot. And they said that there wasn't a spacer. Like theirs just didn't come with a spacer. And I'm like, oh man, that would suck. Now, chances are that thing's so tiny, they probably just lost it and didn't realize it. You know what I mean? But that would be a problematic situation, I think.
For sure.
Yeah, it's like such a minor part of that installation. It's like the only thing that really matters is just make sure you have that spacer in the right place. And if it didn't come with it, then you're kind of screwed. But very good, man. How many gigabytes was yours? Did you get 2?
I got 2 terabytes.
Oh, that's what I meant. Sorry, yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Because just a little bit more, you know, why not? I think it goes up to 4 it can handle.
There's a new one. So. Yeah, I think WD has a 4 terabyte now that they announced, and it's like $500 some or something. It's like $400. Yeah. It's just like, dude, just buy another PlayStation for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, mine was. I got the. You're good. I got the Western Digital Black. I think that's what you got as well. Yep. And for 2 terabytes, it was like $160. Yeah. So that seems reasonable. Yeah. Yeah. And from what I understand, the PlayStation 5 is only about a little less than 700 gigabytes. So a 2 terabyte, which it gives you that full amount, is about 3 times what that was. Yeah. So we got quite a bit of space.
Yeah, because there's no OS or anything on it, right? It's just straight storage, right. So it's perfect. Yeah, very cool, man. Well, usually we talk about listener feedback on the show, and I was really kind of bummed out. I think we've scared away all of our listeners, man. You know, I think Jake gave Big Box a hard time on the last episode, and you know, played by Ken, man. I hope he's all right. Maybe he's back down in Australia. Maybe ice caught him and sent him away or something. I don't know. No, I don't. So the listeners who always write in, not a lot of action this week on the podcast, but that's fine. So the way I look at that is either we did everything absolutely correct last episode and no one had any gripe to pick with us, or we're just doing worse and people quit listening. So it's one or the other. Either we're spot on or we're way off. So if you do want to write the show, like I said earlier, psthisisawesome@gmail.com, or leave a comment on our YouTube video. Our preferred way is that you just sign up for $1 a month and leave us some messages on Patreon. That goes a long ways for us. We appreciate it as we try to build this listener base. But very good, man. And before we get into the news, I want to let everybody know that you and I, LJ, we're going to be discussing the Summer Games Fest. We're going to be talking about it. That was the big thing that happened this week, and our impressions, what was shown, all that kind of stuff, maybe some personal standouts from what was shown. But before we do that, we have a system on the show. And the system is that we get into news before we really get into anything else. And there's not a lot of news points because the Summer Games Fest pretty much was the news of the week. And there's some interesting reveals that we're going to talk about, and maybe some less than interesting things that they showed as well. But the first news point that I have, and it's kind of, I don't know, expected at this point, is that in keeping with their current strategy, Sony has announced they will not be at Gamescom this year. Now, Gamescom is in Germany. I think the last time they were at Gamescom was 2019. And this news comes way of Push Square. And it's just like, this is a really weird strategy for Sony to have. It's like the new PlayStation or something. Like they used to, well, it's also like the new era where like we don't have a lot of these big expos. And when COVID kind of happened in 2021 or so, and a lot of these events became like streaming or digital. And then you got to think like to have an awesome showing at one of these things, it's got to cost money. And I think they're just streamlining and they're kind of running their own narrative their way and on their timeline. So this doesn't force them to come up with something by the time Gamescom is around. They're not forced to do E3. They're not forced to do Summer's Game Fest. They're not forced to do anything. They just do it how they want to do it on their timeline. That gives them time not to, this is my opinion, not to rush things out the door prematurely just to show. Because if you don't show anything, people are going to be like, what the hell? So I didn't even show anything. You know what I mean? So, like, if you're just not there, people don't really have any room to talk because you can't lose if you don't show anything. So I think that's kind of their new strategy, and they're sticking with these state of plays. And even though the showcase, we have mixed feelings on that, but wasn't everything everybody wanted it to be, there are rumors that they might have another showcase later this year. But what's your take on them just kind of opting out of all of these game conventions?
I mean, kind of like what you said, I think it makes sense. The first thought that came to my mind was kind of control, right? Mm-hmm. So like you said, they can control the narrative. They can limit leaks, right? Because less hands in the kitchen. So I'm not too surprised. I think things will go more and more that way. Mm-hmm. And I mean, honestly, it's like, how much news can you spread out? Like we just had the showcase, then Gamescom, and then or the Summer Game Fest, and yeah. So I think it's just about control and keeping the cards close to the chest.
Yeah, I think it's a smart move, especially while they're perceivably on top right now. You know, there's no need to get people excited for a game that's going to come out in 3 years from now. You know what I mean? Like, just why announce that stuff? You know, we've seen them, you know, Pixel Opus, them shut down that studio, the issues they're having with factions. Like, I don't think they have a need to be showing anything right now. So I think if we're just patient, we're going to get really good quality stuff from them. But patience is definitely part of that. So next news point that I have here. Now, this one might not even interest anybody, but I'm a really big fan of horror movies. And I remember this Friday the 13th game came out a while back on PS4, and it was like an online kind of like survival game where it's like a group of people try to survive, and one person got to be Jason, chase people down. Apparently, the game studio is they're not losing the license, it's just expiring the license Friday the 13th. And when that happens, you know, they're going to quit selling the game. You're not going to be able to purchase it or anything. However, if you did buy the game, it is going to remain active all the way through December of 2024. So you have another year to get your game out of it to play it. But it's just kind of interesting to think that, like, a license can dictate that. You know what I mean? Like the studio puts so much time into this game, and then like, oh, the license expires. Now you're not allowed to even like sell it anymore. You can't. That's hopefully they made their money back on it. I think the game was received pretty well. It was really fun when it came out. I played it a couple times. I wasn't great at it. It was suspenseful, but it's you know, I would like to see like a really maybe like AAA Friday the 13th game or something somehow. Like I think of games like Resident Evil 2, where whoever that big guy is that kind of chases you through all the listeners will know. I know you don't play a lot of horror games, but I forget who he is, but it's this guy and he's kind of stalking you throughout the whole game almost, breaking through walls. And it's like, oh, there, you're back. You disconnected for a second. He's back. Yeah. But breaking through walls and stuff like that, and he's chasing you, and it's so scary. I'd like to see like a AAA Friday the 13th game. Speaking of Friday the 13th, on a side note, did you see that One Up My Land got a gig with Off With Their Heads on
October?
Yeah, October, Friday the 13th. Yeah,
nice.
That's how I know the date. So I'm so excited to play, like, finally, like a big show, like a better show or whatever. But we're excited to bring it that night. But yeah, so that's Friday the 13th quip for you. You care anything about Friday the 13th, the game here, LJ?
Not really. I mean, it's sad for the people that are, invested in it. What kind of game is it?
It's just like an online co-op game where one person is Jason.
Okay.
So you try to get the gas, you try to find the gas can. All the things that you need to get are in different locations every round. And there are different ways you can kill Jason, you can get away, you got to escape from him, all these different things. And there are different methods of hiding from him and not getting killed. And it's like a co-op thing. So it was kind of fun, actually. It wasn't like the best graphics. It was definitely AA feeling, but it did really well, actually. Better than any G.I. Joe game has ever done. So, I got no room to talk. Dude, this next news point is really weird. And the news story read strange too. And then the tweet or the company's response or explanation was really weird. I don't even get it. But Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is supposed to be coming to PlayStation 5, PS4. Paradox Interactive is the developer. Wait, maybe they're the publisher? It might be the publisher. I got to look into that. I don't even know. If Jake were here, he would know. LJ, do you know? Jake loves to correct me on shit like this. I'm not saying that you have a responsibility to do it. I have a responsibility to fucking know, but I didn't do my homework. But Paradox Interactive, regardless. And then I have a note here that the publisher for Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is refunding all physical pre-orders and giving the option for gamers who pre-ordered the digital version to request a full refund. The reason they've come out and said the reason that we're doing this is that, we started the pre-order a long time ago. So they went live a while back. And since then, the game has evolved. And we're updating our special editions and bonus content. And we want to provide the best value to those who support the game via digital pre-order after all this time. This just stinks of I don't even know what this means.
It is super odd. I mean, it's kind of cool that they're doing that instead of just keeping people's money, but
I agree.
It is odd.
Yeah. It could be like we're going to give you your money back, but then we're going to come out with this special edition that's going to cost $50 more. That's going to include everything we come up with. And you can buy that. Or because probably what they're perceiving is if they lock these people into the original game and don't give them an opportunity to buy these huge special editions they're coming up with, someone could complain. It'd be like, these weren't made available at pre-order. So I would have went this way, but now I got pigeonholed into having the original game, and now I got to buy all this stuff piecemeal, So maybe that's the logic, but I kind of read this initially that there are issues with the game, just reading between the lines, but it's hard to say, man. It's just a really weird move. I mean, CD Projekt Red should have done this with Cyberpunk, but just been like, yo, dude, the game sucks right now for PS4 owners, and we're just going to give you your money back. Give it back until it's ready. These guys are like, maybe we might be able to make more money off you guys. So here, we're going to give your money back and you give us more later when we put these bonus editions out. I don't know. It's just really weird.
It is. Yeah. I'd be interested to know what the pre-order price was before versus what it will be.
It was like a $49.99 game or $59. Now they're making it $70 or something.
Exactly.
We don't know that. It's just speculation, listeners. But, you heard it here first if that's what happens. Let me see here. Yeah, this next news point. Let me just get my notes down here. I should kind of do these in advance, and I don't know why I never am prepared. But the next news point, we're going to talk more about this maybe later. But it's Summer's Game Fest. The Summer Games Fest. They did announce Marvel Spider-Man 2 release date, and it's going to be an October 20th, 2023 release. So that's nice, dude. It's like the perfect time to start gaming harder. It's like when it starts getting cold out, summer's slowing down, we're sliding into winter. It's perfect. I like the release window. I like that it's coming out. We have a date. It's not like Christmas, it's October 20th, so early in the quarter. So what do you think of that release date? Do you like it?
I love it. Yeah, I agree with you. Perfect time to start gaming a little heavier. I remember Jake mentioned something about, he was kind of speculating if maybe they would just be like, it's coming out in 2 weeks. So they chose not to take that approach, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I'm super excited about that game. I love that studio. And I mean, from the game or the trailer from State of Play, the UI is a little weird to me. I wish they would have kind of stuck with what they had, but I'm super pumped about it. It looks fantastic. I mean, some of the best games for PS5 for sure.
Yeah, dude, it's probably I very seldom say day one purchase, but I mean I'm gonna be playing that bad boy as soon as it comes out because I don't want it spoiled. And I've played the original Spider-Man. The one thing I didn't play was the DLC for Spider-Man, which is weird. I don't know why I never played that, but I did do Miles Morales, and that was fantastic. That game just blew my mind. I had I had a moment playing Miles Morales with just the ray tracing and how good it looked, and I was like, man, it's so awesome to see where gaming has come. Like, it's just so nice, such a treat for us older gamers. But yeah, dude, I just can't believe they're making games like they are right now. It's absolutely cool. So yeah, Marvel Spider-Man 2, definitely going to be a game that I will be playing when it comes out. And the next one is interesting. I don't remember this game back in the day, but there was a horror game, and it was a classic PlayStation game called Siren. I believe it was a PlayStation game. And Sony did this weird announcement about how it's the 20th anniversary of Siren. And there's some speculation that they might be bringing this title back. And I personally don't care because I don't know it. And if it's good enough to bring back and they can do something good with it, then great. But I'm not familiar with what Siren is. I can pull it up real quick. Let me see here. It says Siren series.
It's a survival horror stealth game. I recognize the cover art, but as a guy who never has been into horror games, I wouldn't have played this. But I mean, that's the thing to do these days is, reboot, remaster. So, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but
yeah. So Japan Studio was a thing. I think they've been shuttered since, but this was originally developed by a studio within Japan Studio called, let me see here, Project Siren was the name of the studio. It came out on PlayStation 2 in 2003. I do remember this cover art. I agree with you. So, man, I'll tell you one thing that Sony does, and it seems like they don't shy away from horror games, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a culture thing that or if it's just like they recognize that there's a thirst for those kind of games. Like I don't know a lot of people that love those games, but they're all over the place.
Yeah, my brother-in-law is a big horror game guy. In fact, this past April, we went out to Pittsburgh for my nephew's birthday party, and I brought my VR, and he was like, I want to try Resident Evil, and he played it for an hour or two and loved it. But yeah, now that you say that, that makes so much sense, because when I hear horror games, I think of PlayStation. I don't think of Switch, Xbox, PC. Yeah. Not to say they don't have any, but Sony seems to go all in on horror games, so not too surprising.
Yeah, I mean, all that stuff, like the Resident Evil stuff, the Blair Witch stuff, I feel like all of those. Oh man, the games I get made fun of for liking. Man
of Medan and stuff.
Yeah. Who makes those? I can't remember, dude.
Dark Picture Trilogy, is that what it's called?
Yeah, the Dark Pictures Anthology. Yeah,
Anthology.
Those are great. I love like Outlast and all those. Even Soma could be considered. I do associate those with Sony and PlayStation, even though, like you said, I think those games are available on other platforms to a degree. But yeah, for some reason, maybe it's just because that's how I play them. But I wonder if people who play on other consoles or even PC rather associate horror games specifically with Sony, or if that's just kind of my own leanings to liking Sony products. I don't know. Interesting. This next one is kind of wild. Let me see. Where are we on time? 30:58. Sorry, I'm still writing down the timestamps for all the YouTubers that are going to watch this later. It looks like you might have added some stuff to this one.
I did.
Which is awesome, and I'll let you talk about that. But the only note that I had on here was Street Fighter 6 has sold 1 million copies already, and all I'm thinking is that really bodes well for the franchise. From what I heard, the game is really capable, and it's really, really good. It's being well received. And then you have some scores on here.
Yeah, I've heard Street Fighter 6 is doing really good. I'm going to butcher this, but Famitsu.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Which is like a Japanese magazine, has a scoring system where they give 4 critics a scale of 0 to 10, and they each rate a game. And 29 games have gotten a perfect 40, and Street Fighter 6 is one of those games. The last PlayStation game was Ghost of Tsushima. So that's pretty high praise. I mean, you're talking 29th game of all time for like the past 35 plus years.
Yeah, that's crazy. Not even like a 39, but a straight 40. Like no one went 9.
They all give it 10.
No one went 9. Like 9. Yeah, dude. That's pretty impressive, man. That's got to be a tough score to get. Like you said, 29th game. Wow. That's interesting. I didn't realize that's how they rated their games over there.
Well, it's just this one magazine, right. I guess. I did read right before we jumped on, actually, and I'm probably going to butcher this. I should pull it up, but something about Street Fighter 6 was going to have almost like a battle pass kind of thing, and it's been delayed just because they're having like technical network difficulties. So that's kind of a bummer, and I hope it doesn't hurt the game. But yeah, I've heard so many people say good things about Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, man. I love the Street Fighter games. That was like my introduction, obviously, to like fighters. You know what I mean? Like fighter games like this. It was like I went from beat 'em ups, from like Final Fight, Double Dragon, and all these other things that were just like TMNT, Turtles in Time, that kind of stuff. And then it was like Street Fighter. Like that was it, dude, in the arcade. And it was like when you had 6 characters. Like I don't know. It was like you had Blanca, E Honda, Chun-Li, Ryu, Ken, Guile, and who's the other one? Zangief, I think, were like the main ones. There might have been one other. Did I say Chun-Li? I think I did.
You did.
Yeah, but there was like just like that core group of fighters. And like I just remember like how awesome that was. Because essentially to me back then, being a kid, being like really into not to bring G.I. Joe into it again, but like everybody in G.I. Joe has like this persona, and they had a look. Every character has a certain look, their outfit with certain colors. They had special skills. And I equated like what I liked about G.I. Joe with what I liked about Street Fighter. Was like all these different characters were from somewhere. Like G.I. Joe, all the good guys were from somewhere. They had a little bio, and like Dusty was like, the guy, the desert guy, and like, Snake Eyes was the silent ninja, and it was really, really cool. Like Roadblock was the chef, but he was also carried the biggest gun, and it was like, oh, cool. These people, they all look different. They've all come from different areas of the country, and they all have their own special things in G.I. Joe. And then you sit down in front of like something like Street Fighter, and it's like all of these characters are so colorful in their own regard, and it's like, this is so neat. And they found such a good way to delineate between the characters. It's like, okay, they're from different countries, awesome. what can this person do, and their move sets and like the skills, and like, you know, how maybe Zangief's really slow but really powerful, but then you have someone like Dalzim who has a reach like half the screen, you know what I mean, and it can just hit him before he can get to you or whatever. So it's just like, it was so thought out, Street Fighter, that like I'm so happy it hasn't, you know, because so many decent games from back in the day just go to the wayside over the years, and it's so nice that Street Fighter has found an audience, and it's got this, you know, perpetual love that people just have for it. So it is a game, and I know I don't play fighter games like this much, but it is a game I would love to sit down and play with. You know, I'm not going to spend $70 on it right now, but it is something I really want to sink my teeth into at some point, and maybe catch it on a sale or something down the road and just play with. So, do you have any fond memories of playing Street Fighter growing up, LJ, or anything?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I played Street Fighter 2 Turbo on the Super Nintendo. Yeah. I played the shit out of that game. Yeah.
Dude, I love it, dude. Was M. Bison in Street Fighter 2?
Yeah.
All right. I thought so. All right. Very good, man. Next news point. This one is weird, and I'm not like rolling my eyes over here on this news point, because I think it's earned, honestly, but I think it's a little strange. So PS Studios is just PlayStation Studios. Kojima Productions, they have teamed up, and now there's a trailer for a film that is all about Hideo Kojima and the advent of Kojima Productions. It appears that the film's going to dive into the thought process that Hideo has when he's making games, and how he handles his studio and his creative mind, and it offers many interviews with actors and different talent along the way. And it's just like, he is really, really talented, and the stuff that he comes up with is super, super awesome. And it's shot in like an elegant way. That looks like this documentary. It's the first video game director documentary that I'm aware of that just follows the director around. I know Cory Barlog had a lot of like, he was doing God of War, the remake for God of War. I don't know if it was like developer sessions where like they would interview him and talk with him, and there was some emotional moments and stuff. But like, from what I can tell, this is a straight up film about Hideo Kojima. So it's kind of interesting, and I'm definitely going to watch it. Like I said, I didn't eye roll because it seems a little, I don't want to say egotistical or like flexing, but like, you know, for as kind as it seems Hideo Kojima is, he knows he's badass. Like, you know that he knows he's the shit, right? And like, he makes sure you know when he directs a game. It's got to be his way. You know what I mean? Like, he's very particular, it seems, and for good reason. I mean, obviously he puts out great stuff, but what's your take on a movie or documentary about Hideo Kojima? I mean, for those who don't know, he is the guy behind Death Stranding. He's the mind behind Metal Gear. He was like involved with PT, which is a playable trailer. He was working on a project with Guillermo del Toro. I mean, like, he really is. He wants to be a movie maker. He wants to make movies, but he hasn't made any movies, as far as I know. He's just making games, and now he's like the subject of a movie.
And it's about himself.
And it's about him. And his studio's involved in like making the movie. So like, he like runs a studio so he can make a movie about himself. It's just like so fucking weird.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people will be interested. I definitely will be, because he just seems like such an interesting dude. But yeah, it also kind of does seem egotistical to some degree. But it's earned, right? He has such a great reputation that like people like us want to watch that kind of thing. So it's just like, I mean, if maybe it's more so about his studio, Kojima Productions, and less about him. But I mean, his name is part of the studio. You know what I mean? It's like, it'd be like if I started a studio. It'd be like if I started a record label and called it Oakman Records. You know what I mean? It's just like, why don't you name it something cool?
But I guess like
and then signed yourself.
Yeah, but there's branding. I get the branding. People know his name. He carries a lot of weight. You know what I mean? Like people respect him. He's earned the respect. But it's just still rubs my DIY punk rock ethos a little weird. It just sits a little strange with me. That's all. I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong. It just sits a little off kilter.
Do you think he like uses it to like announce a game of his?
Oh my gosh. If it's super meta, that would be awesome. Like if it's like, if there's like secrets inside the video, like glyphs and stuff, that you gotta like scan and like find clues. Dude, that's something Kojima would do. Like he's so weird like that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got to play it backwards or like, sit on your head or something to like, I don't know. He'll probably release it in some sort of weird medium that requires like VR or something, or like, who knows what he's going to do, man. I really thought when he was talking about Death Stranding, he was going to be doing something on VR because he was like, no one's ever made a game like this before. It's like, okay. Mm-hmm. And he's not wrong. They haven't, no one's ever made a Stranding game like that before. And it's awesome. I got, dude, right here, Bridges. I've got the hat on. Right. I freaking love it. I'm all about it. So this is coming from a dude with a Bridges hat on. I think it sits a little weird. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not ripping on him or nothing. He earned it, but it's just a little strange. Just a teeny bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm stoked for it though at the same time. So I'm double speaking. Dude, the next news point is there was a ROBOCOP game getting made. And there are some streamers who have hands-on experience with it, and you can watch them play it. It's called ROBOCOP Rogue City. Some of the gripes about the game is that it sits a little too close to the movies because you are playing ROBOCOP. Like, a lot of games like the Jedi movies, the Star Wars games, you're not playing like the main people in the movies themselves, or they're aping. But like, they say the environment's really good in these games. In this game so far, the early kind of commentary on these gameplay playthroughs is that it's just like 20 seconds. It's not very long, but they kind of show you it's a first person game where you're going to have decisions as RoboCop. And what a strange, I mean, why not? You know what I mean? Like the atmosphere of the environment's kind of cool, but like in today's world where like everybody is so touchy about police to begin with, and then it's like, here's a cop game. Here, we're going to make RoboCop, which is like a franchise that no one even really cares about as far as I'm concerned. And then to make it exactly like RoboCop 1 and 2, like his coming of how he becomes RoboCop's story. Like he gets murdered, then he comes back, and then he doesn't know his family, and then he's remembering him. And then, you have the ability as RoboCop to like solve these situations peacefully or as peaceful as possible, or just going guns blazing, right? And it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't really have an interest in it outside of I'm curious to see how it does.
Yeah, it feels very niche. I mean, we've talked about this before with G.I. Joe, but, if someone's going to use an IP like this, that's fine, but it just has to be a good game. Like that has to be the focus, and then RoboCop has to be in the back seat. But yeah, super weird,
Cuff him
dude.
and put him in the back seat.
Right, there you go.
Yeah. It is weird.
Pun intended.
Dude, yeah. I don't even know. I'm trying to think of another example of something like this. And it's like, this is probably the best example. Is like who's like into RoboCop, right? Like what would be like another one? It'd be like what was that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where he pulls the tracker out of his Total Recall? It'd be like them making a Total Recall game. It'd be like, man, like you have to really love that movie, because I don't think RoboCop exists in any other iterations. I don't know if there's a big comic book or anything. I don't know if there's been novels. I think it's just the movies.
I think so.
I don't know, man.
I mean, weird.
If you want to see it, you can go online. People are playing the game. And then the last little news point, and it's not even a news point, but it's just a reminder. And it's that, while we just had Summer Games Fest, we also had the PlayStation Showcase, but we also have other showcases coming up, and part of these are probably part of the Summer Games Fest week. But we have a Capcom showcase and a Ubisoft showcase, a Devolver Digital showcase, and Perna was talked about at Summer Games Fest. They've got a showcase coming up in July. So while the Summer Games Fest was kind of like the big thing this summer, there are still going to be showcases from these developers and studios. So that's kind of still exciting. I don't have the dates on any of them here for you guys, but just remember that this Summer's Game Fest isn't the end of it in 2023. So there's more stuff to look forward to. Anything on that, LJ?
Not really. I'm kind of excited to see what Capcom does because I feel like they've been kind of killing it recently. But yeah, lots of good stuff coming up.
Yeah, dude. I don't even know what they're doing. They're still making that G.I. Joe game as far as I know. Well, actually, we haven't heard anything. The Wizards of the Coast were supposed to be working on it, but I would die if like they came out with just this baller G.I. Joe game. Like, even in the Division Heartland, why can't we can't somewhere just get the G.I. Joe license and just give us some G.I. Joe characters to roll around in? Like, that's all I really want. Like you said, like it's got to be a good game, and then like the rest just has to exist. Like,
right.
Why can't I have like Duke in the Division? It would be awesome. I don't know. Can't though. Never gonna happen.
It feels like the closest you'll ever get is a skin in Fortnite, which is not great.
They had a Snake Eye skin in there, didn't they?
I don't know.
I thought there was.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think there was. All right, listeners. Without further ado, we need to get into the Summer Games Fest. This just occurred, and we're fresh off of it. I think it happened just on was it Wednesday, LJ? Or Yeah, so we're recording this on Friday. So I'm not even going to take a whole lot of notes after this. We're just going to go through the stuff that we saw. And I'm going to kind of go in order with the releases that I have here. And we'll just offer some quick commentary. We don't need to go crazy about them unless we're super stoked about something. We want to talk about it. The first thing that we saw was Ubisoft. They opened up Summer Games Fest with Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. And it has a release date of January 18th, 2024. So for anyone who's been a longtime listener of the show, they know that I'm a huge fan of the game Strider. And I couldn't help but see striking similarities between Strider and this game. Like, you got a sword, right? You're the Prince of Persia. You got a sword. You're bouncing around these different walls. You've got maybe some ranged attacks and stuff. And it looked kind of fast. It's like a 2D action side scroller with maybe some Metroidvania stuff. Dude, I'm going to be honest. Out of the games that were shown, this was something that really caught me by surprise. They were reworking a Prince of Persia game a long time ago, and it just got scrubbed. But I remember the original Prince of Persia game on PC on my old Packard Bell, and the graphics were amazing back then. But this is a whole different graphic art style. This is a whole different direction for the franchise. And, it looked really polished with what they showed. And I'm not going to lie, like, if this game plays like Strider, if you guys go to our YouTube channel, I have, like, some Strider YouTube videos, gameplay of me playing that game. I loved that game. And I loved that game growing up. And just something about it. And it felt like a faster-paced Ninja Gaiden or something. And it was just awesome. Like old school Ninja Gaiden. But Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown actually impressed me. It looked good. LJ, anything on this?
I agree. I thought it looked really good. I mean, from the reception that I'm seeing is kind of like hit or miss. I think some people are kind of turned off by the style. But yeah, I thought it looked great. I would definitely try it out.
Yeah, dude. Looks cool. Up next, we saw some gameplay from Mortal Kombat 1. Saw some finishing moves. Saw this weird cameo system they have with like bringing other characters in. Dude, this is another game like Street Fighter that Mortal Kombat came out after Street Fighter, and it really got its hooks into media at the time when it was released. It, was violence in video games and became like this really big news story for a year. Mortal Kombat was like sacrilegious to play, and like it was like not good for kids. It was like the first really, really, truly violent game that had blood and stuff in it. And the characters look kind of real because they were all captured with like photographs and stuff and like some weird video technique, dude. But they came out and they said that Mortal Kombat 1, if he kind of jabbed the audience. Did you hear him say this? He goes, I don't know how many of you guys actually beat Mortal Kombat, the last Mortal Kombat. And he goes, but the ending kind of ends with this, and it kind of does like this dimensional shift where everything changes. And he goes, we kind of use that as a way to restart Mortal Kombat. And he's like, in this version, like Scorpion and Sub-Zero are brothers. You have team ups you normally wouldn't have between characters. You have, enemies that used to be friends. He said, so we're turning everything on its head and we're releasing it story-wise that way. But, dude, this game always looks cool. I don't know. What do you think of Mortal Kombat 1?
I think it looks awesome. Again, I'm kind of like you where it's not a game I really play. I wish I did because it looks badass. It's fun every time I do. I downloaded, I think it was Mortal Kombat 11 or whatever, and played that a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's a nice way to kind of reset and come at it from a different angle, because it's like if it is like the 12th Mortal Kombat or whatever, it's like getting kind of stale. So just like the Marvel movies or whatever, you do the whole multiverse thing, and then the sky's the limit. You can just incorporate whatever you want to. So the graphics just look unreal.
Yeah,
it's cool. Yeah,
those finishing moves where it does the whole X-ray thing where it shows the bone structures cracking and breaking. Like, it just looks so brutal, and you hear the bones crunch like in slow mo. It's like, oh, dude, that's so vicious. Dude, I love it. I'm all in. I mean, I'm probably not going to buy it. I say I'm all in, but it doesn't mean I want to buy it. But I really think it's cool. And again, nothing but love for, I think it was Neversoft that's doing it. And then I think that's who makes it. Who makes Mortal Kombat? NetherRealm Studios. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of it. I want to say is it there's been so many. Yeah, NetherRealm. Yeah, NetherRealm. Yeah, there you go. See, I was on that. Next one was Path of Exile 2. People are really excited about this game. I don't know a whole lot about it. Again, it's one of those ones that's just under my radar. I don't really pay attention, but it looks like it plays a lot like the Diablo 4 or any of the Diablo games. It looked nice. I don't really have anything to say about it. LJ, do you have anything on that one?
I don't.
Okay. So moving on, Street Fighter 6. They had this weird thing with robotic. Is this the thing that they had to cancel or they pushed out? The robotic characters? It's like online.
This was more just a battle pass. So no, I think it's something different.
They were like fighting like robot dinosaurs and stuff. Like Guile was like a robot. Like, it was the weirdest thing I'd ever seen. I didn't even know what it meant. And then Jeff Keighley said something like he was like, he's like, yeah, sky's the limit here. Anything can happen here at Games Pass, And it's just like, what did we just see? It's like some sort of weird online-only Street Fighter game called Exo Primal. I don't even know what it was. It was weird. So I don't have any opinions on it, except that it's weird. So I take it you don't really care about that either, huh?
Nope.
Okay. Dead by Daylight. We're getting a Nicolas Cage character. He actually showed up in person at Game Fest, which is, I love Nicolas Cage. He's got this weird, dude. Nick Cage kind of has this aura about him now, like where like he's kind of cool to like. You know what I mean? Like, he's kind of like permeating into the stratosphere of like one of these untouchable actors that just has a legacy. He's just like that guy. Mm-hmm. But it was really interesting, and like he had a pretty cool persona. What I noticed about Nick Cage at the Summer Games Fest, when he was leaving, he was just kind of walking away, and everyone was like yelling and stuff, and he just kind of did this hand wave, like, I don't know, like, I don't know what I'm doing here. All right, we'll see you guys, and he just kind of walked. He looked dressed to the nines, showed up. He talked about his character. He said the story for his character in Death by, he's not a bad guy, he's a good guy. he thinks he's going to like a movie set or something, and like it turns out like it's real, or like I don't know, he's getting hunted by like some bad guy, or I don't know. But then it cut to the gameplay, dude, and you could almost hear the audience kind of laugh because, dude, they did not do a great job capturing Nick Cage at all.
No,
they should have got it better than that. I mean, it really did not look like him very well. Like, you know that it's supposed to be him, but I mean, come on. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it was. It was interesting. Have you ever played Dead by Daylight?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay. Yeah, they have quite a few famous folks in there, so I guess he's just next on the list.
That's fun, man. That's cool. And then we saw The Witcher Season 3 trailer for Netflix. It looked awesome. It looked fine. But at this point, knowing that Henry Cavill is leaving... Dude, I will say this about this trailer. You can tell that the budget that Netflix is giving them to work with has been reduced. Some of the special effects in this trailer looked a little hokey to me. And it was like kind of disappointing because, I really have a love for The Witcher. And LJ, you've been playing The Witcher, right? Did you end up beating it?
Mm-hmm. Not yet.
Yeah, but it's so good, right? It's great.
So good.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yes. So, have you watched any of the Witcher on Netflix?
I've seen the first season, not the second one. Do you think they scaled back on purpose because they think they're going to lose some viewers, or why?
It depends on when Henry Cavill told them he wasn't coming back. I mean, they usually the special effects is all done after the shooting, right? So they probably had all of these scenes shot ready for special effects. And then he's like, yeah, I'm not coming back. I'm not renewing this contract with you guys. And they're like, oh shit, we're losing Henry. Now we got to pay how much for Liam Hemsworth to come in and take his spot. And we don't know how it's going to do. And we know with Henry leaving, the fans, we're going to lose a good portion of the fans probably. I'm a skeptic about the whole thing. I think it sucks. I think that, yeah, they probably pulled some funding, or maybe they just, it's good enough when the special effects came back instead of being particular, let's not spend more money on that. It looks fine, but like, it's very possible that Liam Hemsworth gets in there and does a fucking knockout job. Maybe he does a good job. I mean, who's to say that he's not going to? It's just like the viewers know that Henry Cavill was a fan of the books and of the franchise, and the fact that he's walking creates a terrible optical situation for what's going on. So I don't know. Any opinions on that, LJ?
Nothing to add. Yeah.
It's just kind of weird. It was kind of bittersweet watching that trailer. Next up, we got a trailer for Witchfire. Just a nice looking first person game. Nothing fantastic. It wasn't anything that like dropped my jaw or anything. I wasn't like, whoa, but I mean, it looked nice. It'll be a nice game. I hope it does well. There's some sort of early access date revealed. I don't know what that date was, and I guess it doesn't really matter. If you're interested, go check it out on YouTube. They have the trailer up there. And I don't know. I think VR2 was something I was excited to see stuff for. And we saw this Crossfire Sierra Squad. That looks good. Now, you have Pavlov on VR2. You said it was kind of like weird.
Yeah, it's just it's kind of hard, like, because you have to do everything. But this Crossfire Sierra Squad looks really good. It definitely got me intrigued. So we'll see when it, how much it is and what the reviews are. But I'd definitely be interested. Yeah.
Every time I see a VR2 game get announced, I'm like, okay, it's still happening. Like, there's still stuff. They haven't given up yet. So yeah, it looks good, man. Remnant.
We'll say the trailer that they showed was like so over the top. It was like gunfire to gunfire explosion, like 80s heavy metal. Like it was a lot. It was cool though.
Yeah, they went full bore, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Remnant 2, they showed that. I know a lot of people were excited about this game. It looked cool. I wish I knew more about it, and I think I don't really have much to say about this game. This might be one that Jake is excited for. I don't know if he would be or not, but maybe I'll give him an opportunity down the road to talk about anything he thought was worth talking about. But what's your experience with Remnant 2? Any
I don't know really anything. No, but I mean, from the trailer, like I was like, oh, I'd definitely be interested to learn more about this. I mean, I do really like co-op games, so that part especially kind of grabbed my attention.
Yeah, for sure. And then the Sonic game, dude, that looks amazing.
Yes.
You know, I'm not even a Sonic fan, but it looks so slick compared to the originals. It's just like, here's the original, and then we've done everything to make the original way better. You know, and I don't. It looks like you can have Tails, Sonic. I don't know who the other characters are in the Sonic world, but
Knuckles is one.
What's that?
Knuckles is one.
Oh yeah. What do you think about this? Was this a nice showing? I don't know if this is coming to PlayStation or not. It's hard to say that it will.
I would guess it would. I was pretty interested just because, I mean, I have some younger kids and it's hard to find games that we can all like truly enjoy to play together. So this made it look like you could play up to 4 people at once. So I'd be down. I haven't played a Sonic game in a while, but I played a shitload on the Sega. I thought it was particularly cool in the beginning how like he was going back and forth between like the old 16-bit and then like the new graphics. That was really cool.
It says on
I mean, it's awesome.
It says on their website, it says more friends, more fun. For the first time ever in a Sonic game, play through the entire campaign with up to 3 other players with drop in and drop out 4-player local co-op.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude. It looks really good, man. Plays your favorite characters. She's from Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy Rose. And
Amy Rose.
Amy Rose is the other one. Yeah, dude, cool. Sonic, there you go. It's a Sega game. This Honkai Star Rail got some stuff, and I thought this was out already on PlayStation, but the way Jeff Keighley was talking is that it's not out yet on PlayStation. Is that true? This is from the makers of Genshin Impact.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I don't know too much about this one, to be honest.
It's like a sci-fi role-playing. It's a gacha video game. So it's by MiHoYo, and it's published by MiHoYo also. But it came out in April of 23 for mobile devices. I guess they have to port it still to PlayStation 4 and 5. I thought it already came out on PlayStation, but I guess I'm wrong on that. So I'm curious to see how this thing does, because my brother loves Genshin Impact, and this is like a sci-fi version of that, I guess. So it looks cool. The art direction's great. Like, everything looks really nice about it, and this company clearly knows how to make these games. So if you're into that kind of thing, probably pretty decent. Next up, Lies of P. It has a demo out. It's coming out, the game itself, on 9/17/23. This is kind of like a Souls-esque kind of game, but the art direction's amazing. It takes like this Pinocchio approach, where you lie or whatever, and they talk about Geppetto, and like you have this mechanical arm. Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I should have brought this up, but I downloaded this demo and tried it out. And it's not easy, but it's also not hard. I'm gonna take that back. It's not easy, but it's not like so difficult so far in the demo that like I wanted to like just throw my controller. They give you like some respawn points. It seems like every time you beat like a tougher boss, you get like a respawn point or whatever. But the thing of it is that I don't think the Souls games did. This game does, and I haven't played any of the Souls games, but I did play not Bloodborne. What was the one with the the samurai guy? What was that one called? Do you remember that game? Oh God, it's not Sekiro. It's maybe it wasn't Bloodborne.
With an N.
Neo, yes.
Neo.
Yeah, thank you. Good job. Neo, yeah, I played Neo, and that game, the first boss in Neo, I just quit. I deleted it. I got the game for free, played it. It was I probably tried to fight him like 25 times, and I couldn't beat him. He was that hard, and I just quit.
Jeez.
And Jake was like, "Yeah, he's the hardest boss in the game." Everybody says. I'm like, "Oh, fantastic!" You know, I'm glad. Can you imagine spending like $60 on a game, $70 on a game, not being able to get past the first boss? Like, so this game was not that. And what was nice about Lies of P is you have this flask with you, and for every successful attack that you deliver, the flask fills up a little bit. And when it gets full, you can drink it to replenish health. And it was such a nice feature for a difficult style game that it feels like there's a little bit of hope. Like, you know, if you have half life and you got some enemies in front of you, you're like, well, if I can just parry a couple times and get some swings in, I'll get to replenish my drink, and then I can like kind of hit, you know, without having to get killed and start the way at the beginning. I have a shot at getting healed here if I just play my cards right. So I will say I like that, and I absolutely love the art direction in this game. It's so cool, but that's the problem with a lot of these Souls games. If you're not into that style of game, but the art direction in all these games, like Elden Ring, is so awesome, but like they're just not my style. What'd you think of this trailer for this? Did you watch this?
I did. Yeah, I agree with what you said. I mean, the graphics really caught me, but I'm not into Souls games. So, I mean, maybe if it was like a free PS Plus game, I'd probably try it. The fact that you said it's not too crazy hard, maybe dip my toes in it.
It's definitely not easy, but it feels like it's doable. You know what I mean? Like it's not punishing. It didn't seem. It just seemed like, okay, this is going to take a little bit of getting used to, and I think I can get through this. It felt right, but who knows? I mean, this is just the demo, so of course it's going to be the easiest part probably, but it was cool. Next up, they showed us Sandland. This is a Bandai Namco game. This is like based on some. I don't know. There's some history to Sandland. I don't know what it is. The art style is awesome. The game looks fine. Yeah. Do you know anything about this?
I know it's based on a manga by Dragon Ball, the Dragon Ball creator.
Okay.
So the whole Goku thing. I never got into that, but I agree. The art on this is what stuck out. I mean, to be honest, I feel silly kind of saying this, but like the whole Summerfest, that's what stuck out to me. There was just a lot of like good looking games. Like it was hard to know in like the short snippets, like what the gameplay was like, or if I genuinely enjoy them, but they definitely, a lot of them look good, and Sandland was was definitely in that.
Yeah. It wasn't any different than the rest of the cool stuff we saw. Like like you said, man, to your point, like some of this stuff is like, they didn't show you so much that they had a chance to shoot themselves in the foot, these game trailers. And as long as what we saw looked competent and good and graphically interesting, like, you know, there really wasn't anything that was like, I don't know. There was a couple things. Throne and Liberty is an Amazon game, massive multiplayer online RPG. I don't even know if this is coming to PlayStation. It says NetSoft and Amazon. I don't really care about that. If you don't have anything on that, we can keep moving. Warhaven by Nexon Studios. Don't even really know what this thing was about either. Again, it looked cool, but like, I don't know. Like, some of these games are starting to look kind of samey. Party Animals was the next. If it just stop me if you have something to say. Party Animals was an Xbox game. Don't care about that. And not because it's Xbox, it just wasn't like my kind of game. And then Dying Light 2, they had some sort of weird cryptic statement. I don't even know what they were talking about. Like, oh, DLC's coming. And like, okay. And then it was like on to the next trailer. And I was like, that was weird. But this one is a big one. Alan Wake 2 by Remedy. You can play two different characters. We finally saw some gameplay. And dude, this looks awesome.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. That FBI jacket, just the way it looked in the dark, looks so good.
Yeah.
Just they did some homework. It definitely looks like it's 30 frames per second, though. I'll say that. Looks like it's 30 FPS. But so be it. It doesn't look like a fast-paced game anyways. It looks awesome, though. And
looks so good.
Horror game, though, dude. Did you play the first Alan Wake?
I didn't. I kind of want to, just because I heard such good things. I hear the first one's more like suspenseful, which I could do that.
Yeah.
It just looks so good. Yeah.
I haven't played it either. Jake told me I should. He said he wants to go back to it. He said that he had heard that like even the remake of Alan Wake or whatever they did with it. It's one of those a little bit, just a wee bit of rose-colored glasses looking back on it. But like it's still held up from what I understand. I'd like to get into that series. I did play Control, and I was not a fan of Control. I played it and beat it, and did not appreciate Control whatsoever. Put me in that.
I don't think it's a very long game.
Alan Wake?
So, yeah. I think it's like maybe 10 to 15 hours.
Okay.
12 to 15.
Dude, there's so many games this Halloween I want to play. So many spooky games. All right. Now, the game we've all been waiting for is up next. And I think this is going to rub Jake the wrong way, but Space Marines 2 is going to be a co-op campaign game. So Jake hates playing with other people, but he's so excited for this game. So is this the game that's going to make him cave and do some co-op shit? Now, they didn't say that you couldn't play it single player, but they definitely advertised it as a co-op game. This is the Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 game. And damn, this looks awesome. I don't know, LJ. This game's awesome. It's just going to be so good. I can call it right now.
I didn't get to play the first one. I wasn't really gaming then, so I'm super excited to play this one since y'all hype it up so much.
Dude, it's so cool. It's so rad. And I don't play Warhammer shit. Like you guys know, I'm a tabletop gamer a little bit. I like to think that I am, but I'm not as much as I just like miniatures and painting and shit. But like, dude, the original Space Marine game was really, really fun. And the fact that they're driving home campaign and story is just awesome on this one. And I want to take this adventure with my friends. So I think it's going to be super awesome. And it's coming out this winter, by the way. They didn't give a date, but it's coming out this winter. So it's not far off.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. And we don't have too many more here, but yeah, we do actually, but we'll kind of go through them. Jesus, there was so much that went on. So let me see here. Yes, Your Grace. This game looked really awesome to me. It's made by Brave at Night Games. This game is already out, apparently. And surprisingly, I think it's available on Mac on Steam. There are so few games available on Mac. I should just get it on my Mac and try it out. It caught my eye, like the art style. It's like kind of that 2.5D or whatever they're calling it. You know what I mean? It's interesting.
Yeah, with the pixely stuff. It looks like it was released in 2020 for Windows, Switch, Xbox. So PlayStation's finally catching up here. But yeah, this one definitely caught my attention. I would try this one.
Yeah, looks cool. And then we got a weird game out of left field called Toxic Commando. John Carpenter is writing an original story apparently, and it's called Toxic Commando. And it's about these groups or this group of people. It looks like a co-op game during like the zombie apocalypse. It looks like, but the zombies almost look like they're electronic too, don't they? Didn't they have like an element of like electronic to them?
I could see that. Yeah,
like the eye. Like their eyes and stuff looked like they were like LED lights or something. I don't know. It was really bizarre. It's like a weird. I'm interested. I don't know. We'll see what, we didn't really get any gameplay or anything, so we'll see. Just we got like a cinematic. Get a new character in Baldur's Gate. Don't care. Spider-Man 2. We saw a lot on that. Not really see a lot. They announced that release date. We know that's exciting. Pal World. I don't remember what that was.
It was almost like Pokemon looking.
Yeah, it's kind of different.
I don't know.
And then Black Desert, Land of the Morning Light expansion. I don't know what that's about. And then it's weird because the Gollum game kind of sucked. And then they showed this, dude. They showed this Lord of the Rings Return to Moria game, and I'm like, is this Daedalic Studios? But I don't think it is. It's like a Minecraft kind. No. It's like you tear apart a mine, and you're the Gimli and his group back in Moria, and like, dude, it's just bad. I don't know. I feel bad for Lord of the Rings fans because they're just being absolutely cannibalized. The franchise.
Yeah, I'm a big Lord of the Rings guy, and when I saw this, I just had to shake my head, dude. It's so sad. I guess we're going the way of G.I. Joe.
Yeah, it's a bad feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, because there's so much cool shit they could do with it, and then they just produce these turds. It's sad.
Yeah, it needs to go to capable hands that care. And
they used to make good Lord of the Rings games. I mean, some of my favorite games from PlayStation 2 were Lord of the Rings games.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, dude, I don't know what to say about that, dude. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, have you ever watched the Lord of the Rings animated, The Hobbit? Did you ever watch The Hobbit?
Yes.
With all the songs and stuff in it. Uh-huh. Crack the dishes, crack the plates. That's what Bilbo Baggins hates, dude. I love that. It's so trippy and crazy, but like. I saw Greta Van Fleet on Saturday Night Live once, and their singer looked just like Bilbo Baggins from the animated Hobbit. And I made like this meme, and nobody got it. But like, if I can find it, I'll show it to you because it's spot on. Yeah. Like, he was dressed just like Bilbo Baggins in the Hobbit, and he had like the curly, fucking messed up hair parted. Like, dude, looked just like him. Yeah, dude, that's cool.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's a deep cut. If you haven't seen the animated Hobbit, you got to watch it, dude. It's actually really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. Yeah. Whew. Yeah, I like me some Lord of the Rings. I read them. I've read them all once. And not to offshoot too much, but the one character that never made an appearance in the movies that I
Bombadil?
Yes. Yeah.
Dude, I don't know.
Why wasn't he in it? Mr. Shapeshifter.
He's like arguably the most powerful character in all of Lord of the Rings. I think like Peter Jackson just felt like there wasn't space to explore him, and he didn't really have a huge impact in the books, which is kind of true. Right. But he's just a cool character. I don't know. He's just so like laid back and shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Such a cool character. All right. Well, anywho, moving on. They announced this weird thing for iOS and Android, Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. I don't even know what this is. And this is maybe where Jake is such a nerd, his expertise would be able to tell us more about this, but I don't know what Ever Crisis is. Do we know what it even is? I don't think it's an actual game that existed before.
It sounds like they're just bringing Final Fantasy to mobile, to hit that market. But holy shit, are we getting so much Final Fantasy here recently? It's just unbelievable.
It is kind of wild.
It seems like every week there's some news about, it's crazy.
Okay, so this is interesting. You're right. It looks like Final Fantasy VII made for mobile. This is the same shit they did with War of the Lions, but not. Like, they call the game something that it's not, and they rebrand it. So you go to the Ever Crisis site, and it just says, Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, experience the world of Final Fantasy VII as it unfolds, one chapter at a time, along with a new untold story of a quote-unquote hero. It doesn't really say anything else about it, dude. But I don't know. I don't know if it's a new story or what, but it's probably just kind of essentially Final Fantasy VII, one chapter at a time as they make them. They're milking it for everything they can, and I don't blame them. Banisher's Ghost of New Eden, dude, made by Don't Nod. 2023, it's coming out this year. This is the studio who does the Life is Strange games, but they have branched off, and they're making this Banishers game, which I think looks really interesting.
Agreed.
Yeah. This was one that Jake and I couldn't remember the title of, and then I think it came to us, but we didn't really see a lot of gameplay in this, did we? In this trailer, did we? We haven't seen a ton of gameplay yet.
I feel like we saw some.
Okay.
Maybe not.
No, I think maybe we did, man. It's just one of. Oh crap! Where's it at? Hold on, it's playing, dude. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get in trouble.
Life.
There, I paused it. Oh my gosh! I clicked the button and I have these little links on here, and the sound kicked on. I'm like, dude, we're gonna get like copyright stricken because I put the sound of the freaking trailer in here. Dude, I don't know. It looks good. This game looks awesome. It's on my list. It's on my list of things to keep an eye out for. Like a Dragon Gaiden was announced, and I believe that's like the man who erased his name or whatever. I've never played any of these games.
Me neither.
I hear they're good. I don't know anything about them. And then I know a lot of people are excited over that one. And then this underwater game, dude, totally interesting to me. Quantic Dream's involved.
Same.
Dude, we're like hitting on the same games. We're like, oh, these are the ones. So it's called Under the Waves. And I don't even know what the premise is. Like, this dude's just underwater in like this submersible, and like he's just living down there looking for something.
Yeah, I thought it looked really cool. This is actually one that probably stuck out the most to me, I would say. Even though ironically I have a fear of being in water with something bigger than me, that's like one of my greatest fears. I think it looks beautiful, and there's something about it that is mysterious. Like there's something else going on while he's down there that I want to know more about.
Yeah, I thought the trailer was awesome. It starts off with like him getting woken up. It's like, good morning, blah, 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 right? Doesn't it say like it is now, blah, 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 and like it wakes him up. It's like essentially what you see with these outer space movies where like somebody's like mining Mars or something, and they're out there all by themselves, and they're like, whatever they're doing, it has colossal importance. But like for some reason they're on their own, and there's no explanation why. And like they're interacting with this AI. And now this guy in Under the Waves apparently is just in the ocean, and he's interacting with AI for some reason. And like he's
by himself.
He's by himself, correct. He's completely solo, and like he's on a mission. Like his goal is he's trying to accomplish something, maybe to save humanity, maybe he's looking for something. We don't really know, but it looks cool, and cool to see Quantic Dream's name pop up. This is the studio who was behind the Detroit Become Human, those games, the Indigo Prophecy. I'm trying to think of the other ones that they've done. I've been a big fan of Quantic Dreams, and I think they're publishing this. I don't think they're developing it, but I think I could be talking out my ASS, but let me see. Under the Waves. This game is...
they're just publishing it. They're not developing it.
Okay, right. Okay, so good. I'm right on that. Quantic Dream. So it says Under the Waves is a narrative-driven adventure game about the engulfing power of grief. Set in the depths of the North Sea in the techno-futuristic 1970s, professional diver Stan is struggling to overcome a life-changing loss and embrace a new future. Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And then he finds some shit down there, and he's like just a regular dude just trying to get through the day, doing what he needs to do to kind of get through whatever's going on in his life, and then he uncovers something that we just don't know anything about. Awesome. All about it.
Yep.
They announced a new season of Warzone. Moving on. These Porsche-inspired consoles for Xbox, dude, they looked terrible.
Yeah.
Weren't they the ugliest consoles you've ever seen?
Yeah, they were hideous.
They were just absolutely terrible. Just racing stripes all over them. Different colors didn't go with each other. 75 made. None of them were to sell. We won them in a contest. Fae Farm, don't even care about it. This Marvel Snap Card game, some sort of new game mode, don't care about it. Stop me if you need to. King Arthur Legends 5 on PC. Don't even know what that is. And then we got Twisted Metal, a quick shot of some screen top. Not just a teaser or trailer, Twisted Metal. And you sent me something to my phone, LJ, about this and how, people were maybe put off by this a little bit. And I think the article that you sent me was on Push Square, might have been, but it was kind of like more so like you have to understand the tone of this. And even then, maybe like it's still not striking the right chords, but I didn't mind this. I wasn't like, oh God, I got to see this. I didn't even laugh once either. My focus was on the hole in Sweet Tooth's mouth to see if the guy's mouth was moving when he was talking. You know what I mean? Like that's where my focus was. I don't know. I was just trying to find like an inconsistency. But what did you think of this?
I mean, it did not blow me away. I love Twisted Metal. Those are some of my favorite games. And the link I sent you had a clip, and it was just very lackluster. It was kind of cringy. Also, they didn't show any cars, which is like kind of what Twisted Metal is. So it's just an odd choice to be like, here's Twisted Metal, with no metal. I don't know. I'm keeping my expectations pretty low.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw the clip, and it seems like, I don't know, man. It seems like it was shot fine. It didn't look like a B movie.
No.
Like, the quality was there, but it was in the delivery and the content, right? Like, are they missing the mark here? I think maybe.
Because, I mean, Twisted Metal is kind of corny and cheesy to some extent, so I understand why they'd want to include that. Mm-hmm. But it's also kind of, I mean, it's about shooting each other with cars and stuff, and there was none of that. So, like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's almost like they want, like, the cutesy playfulness, satire of Borderlands, but you can't do that only in cars. Like, you need to get out of the cars to have those interactions. It's like, what's the purpose for them to be outside of their vehicles?
Yeah.
It's weird. It would work better if they had like some sort of like FaceTiming thing with all the vehicles. Like they could FaceTime each other.
That'd be cool.
And it was just like this nonstop romp with action and like, them drawing off to one another. And like, I don't know. It would be kind of hard to keep track of though too, to be honest. Like, I don't know. It'd be like having like a Mario Kart movie or TV series, right? Like how do you keep track of everybody on the track? You know what I mean?
I get it, but like at least have him like have Sweet Tooth step out of his ice cream truck or
exactly. Right. That's a good point.
It's so iconic. I don't know.
Did you see the teaser trailer where we did see his ice cream truck?
I don't think so. I've only seen stills of it.
Okay, yeah. So they did show the truck, but you're right. Like Summer's Game Fest, people want to see the vehicle combat. They don't want to see Twisted Metal joking, not Twisted Metal, but they don't want to see Sweet Tooth and whoever the other character is that plays Falcon in the Avengers. Mm-hmm. They don't want to see those guys joking about a song.
The thong song.
The thong song that has nothing to do with Twisted Metal. So, I mean, it was kind of funny, but like, It's only funny if we know that you're going to get it right. Out of context, it's just like concerning. You know what I mean?
Well, if Sweet Tooth wasn't dressed up like Sweet Tooth, would that have been Twisted Metal?
No, not even close.
Right. So, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Wow. Point taken. I get it. Totally. Two left, Immortals of Avium. We get gameplay. Gameplay trailer number 2 is on YouTube now. You can watch this. This game, man, like, I want to be interested, but something is still kind of like not hitting me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a pretty game. The mechanics seem pretty cool. I don't know how to describe the theme, but I think for me, it's like the setting, the theme. Like I like futuristic stuff, but I don't know. It seemed a little try hard. but I wasn't like turned off to it completely. But
it's almost like they were like, let's create a superhero.
Sure.
But it's like, we only care about superhero games because they're already superheroes that we care and love. Like, you can't just make a game and say this person's a superhero. They're going to save the day. Like, that doesn't work. Like, there's got to be some lineage. There has to be some sort of, you know what I mean? Like, foundation.
Yeah.
There's just not that with this game. And I think, like, if this character, if Immortals of Avium was a thing before this game and it had a following, people would be jazzed about this game. But no one really even knows what it is, you know? You can't just create characters and expect it to do well. And that's the reason why I think Naughty Dog is so successful, is that they managed to create characters that resonate out of thin air. And it's like, how do you do that? You know, this character just doesn't do it for me. Something about his looks, or like, it seems like a Marvel. To me, it feels like it plays. It looks like it plays. I don't know. I don't even know how to word this. Like, when you watch a Marvel movie, the feeling you get watching that movie, it's just like so. Everything is just so obvious and on the face. You know what I mean? Like, I don't expect like Immortals of Avium to do anything that's going to be like groundbreaking. I think it's just going to be very cookie cutter, based on these trailers, a very cookie cutter story about somebody that saves their world.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the first release from Ascendant Studios, which is kind of a hodgepodge of people who it was founded by like people involved in Dead Space, Call of Duty. So it's kind of like their first like at bat. Like, here's what we got to offer. So I hope, you know, it's something good. But yeah, I mean, it comes out next month. We'll see what the reviews say. But
well, you know what? Like, I'm not dogging on it. I just think that, like, there's just something about it for me personally that it doesn't really like. There's nothing in any of these trailers that like hits home for me, where I'm like, oh man, I feel connected to this. Like, I feel like this is a game I have to play. You know what I mean? It's pretty, yes. It looks awesome, yes. It looks like the combat might be really cool, yeah. But still, it's still missing something, and I don't know what. I can't put my finger on that. It's like I don't know. It's like an intangible thing. I don't know what it is, but I could be way wrong, man. This game might just knock it out. It might be awesome. The story might be absolutely riveting. They could just kill it with this game. I don't know, though. You know, but my initial impression is that there's no reason for me to dislike what I've seen, but I still have that bullshit detector in my head that's like, this game's probably not that great. You know what I mean? Going off. But I don't know. I don't know what it is, dude. But anyways, last but not least, and I thought this was really funny because when they showed the Final Fantasy Ever Crisis, he goes, and speaking of Final Fantasy, and everyone was like freaking out. And then he goes, hold on. He goes, no, it's not what you think it's going to be. Implying that we weren't going to get any other Final Fantasy news. He's like, if you order DoorDash and you do use the code Final Fantasy, you get like X amount of money off right now tonight for Summer Games Fest. And everyone just starts laughing. He's like, I'm glad I dodged that bullet because you guys would have been really mad. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to build up hype that doesn't exist. And then boom, the last thing they show is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And we get the continuation of the Final Fantasy VII. And it's coming out in early 2024, which is really fucking soon. Dude, like, yeah. I can't believe this. Like, that's no, like, how are they this far on? I can't believe they're actually doing this. And they said it's going to ship the physical copy with 2 discs, which is like,
kind of into that.
Dude, I'm all in, dude. And it's different. It looks different than Final Fantasy VII. So they must be playing on this. I think this is also an alternate universe Final Fantasy VII game.
So it's probably a little sacrilege, but I've never played a Final Fantasy all the way through. Yeah. But this one probably intrigued me the most. just like the color choices, the fighting. So I'm super excited. I might try to play this one.
So you haven't played 7?
I haven't, no.
Oh, Jay,
I haven't played any.
You need to play 7, dude. Put it on easy and just take a rip through it, dude. It's Jake and I both play it. We love it. It's good. It's really good. And you're going to need to play 7 to play Rebirth, dude. Just do it. It's free right now for you if you're a Plus member. That's the game right now. Get it done before 2024. That's your mission.
All right, we'll do that.
That's your homework assignment. Oh, brother. Dude.
And then I'll throw this out there too. I read today that there's a rumor that they're remaking Final Fantasy X as well.
Oh yeah, you sent that to me. Yeah, right.
Yeah. There's so much Final Fantasy.
So much, and we're getting 16 soon.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say about all that. I mean, like, dude, one time, this is for old listeners of the podcast. One time, Jake and I were offered free tickets to go to Pittsburgh to watch the Pittsburgh Philharmonic play music from the Final Fantasy games. And they showed, like, they had it, like, playing on a big screen. So we went, like they gave us free tickets to go because we had this podcast, and it was like one of the coolest things we got to do. And then on the way home, we did a podcast in the car on the way home. I don't know what episode it is, but it's real. And it was like maybe a bonus episode. It was like one of the coolest things. Unfortunately, at the time, I wasn't like, I'd only played a handful of Final Fantasy games, so I didn't like really know a lot of the songs. But it was such a cool thing to be a part of. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, wow, this is sick. So that's a little trivia for the listeners. Jake and I got to do that a long time ago. Every once in a while, this podcast earns us something kind of different to do, but, affords us an opportunity. But the true opportunity is just doing the podcast and hanging out with our buddies like we did today. LJ, I appreciate the time that you spent with me. Appreciate you jumping on the show on a Friday night. I know you're a busy family guy. Jake, unfortunately, is in Nashville, and he was at like some sort of bar late at night, and he sent me a message at like midnight, and he said, "Yo, dude," he goes, "There's a band playing The Chain by Fleetwood Mac, and they're probably getting paid $5,000 to play tonight in Nashville." And he said, our version is so much better than theirs. I was like, dude, because we do cover songs once in a while. And we did start rehearsing The Chain by Fleetwood Mac, which is arguably one of their most famous songs. And we were nailing it, but I was having some trouble with the vocals because I'm not that kind of a singer, dude. But like, so it took a lot of work, and Sarah was harmonizing with me. But we got it to a point where it was really good. And then like, we hit a streak of like 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks where we didn't get a chance to practice. So we lost all the progress we had made on playing this thing. And but he said, I don't think it was a drunk text. I think it was just like he was out at work. He went out to a bar to catch some live bands. Nashville, you can't go to a better place to find live music. But that's old Jake, in the pocket, just like recognizing and lifting us all up by saying like, we do a better version of this band, FYI, guys. So, yeah, dude. But thanks so much, LJ, for being a part of the show today. This has been episode 280 of PS. This is awesome. You can tune in every week. The show goes live for non-patrons every Monday. You can tune into YouTube, and you can, if you're a patron, you can get the show early. Like, some of our patrons are really going to get it early. Jake and I never record on Fridays, so this is going to be really nice. Going to get it out of the way for the weekend. I can get some more caulking done on my. You got to be careful how you say that word. You got to throw the L in there. You just might say something you might regret. But yeah, dude. LJ, what do you know, man? I appreciate you, man. And it's so nice to have you back on the podcast. And, by all means, you should come on sometime with Jake and I, and we can do, maybe the next Sony thing or something that goes on. You're always welcome. Just let me know if you're interested. The thing with Jake and I is we don't really, and the patrons like yourself know that episode I put up on Patreon shows up at the most random times during the weekend. And it just depends on when I get it done. So it's kind of tough to like have a set schedule to record, but if you're ever interested or something you want to talk about on the show, just shoot me a message. You're always welcome. This is, obvious. It should be obvious for everybody. LJ's been a crucial part of us, even like me especially being motivated to do this podcast. The positivity you were sending me with text messages about gaming and how the show kind of got you back into PlayStation, that meant a lot to me. And I'm happy to have you here, man. So thank you so much for doing the show. And maybe down the road we'll do another one, just you and I. You're always welcome to join in any episode. Just write and ask. You're never intruding. If you want to jump in, you have something you want to talk about, something you're stoked on. Even if not for the full episode, if you just want to jump in for a little bit, you're welcome to. But yeah, thank you, man. The floor is yours. Say whatever you want to say.
Yeah, just appreciate you having me on. Appreciate everything that you and Jake do for not only the PlayStation community, but I think the greater gaming community. Yeah, and can't wait to have Jake back next week. He's always a wealth of knowledge. Appreciate his humor as well. So, yeah, looking forward to it and appreciate the invite. And it was a great time with you tonight.
Yeah, man.
And Charlie over there.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah, he's been in the video the whole time. Usually he doesn't make the video, but he's in it. He's in it this week, so he's snoozing.
Just 3 dogs hanging out,
Yeah, dude. That's for sure. Well, all right. Well, let's not keep the listeners any longer. This has been kind of a longer episode. We're clocking in at just about an hour and 40 minutes. So that's it, man. You know how to end this off with me. So like Octopath Traveler 2, Off the Grid, and Overland. P.S.
Yes,
This is awesome.
This is awesome.